ओके ओके फाईन. मला फक्त मी आता हॉरिझॉन्टल फोन ठेवला सो आय एम whether I'm seen perfectly fine or not, just let me know. मिसाल ही एक परत एक युनिक सिरीज आहे क्लासिकल म्युझिक ऑफ इंडिया ह्या पेजने काढली आहे, की ज्याच्यामध्ये असे आर्टिस्ट आहेत ज्यांचे इंटरव्ह्यू होतात की जे फर्स्ट प्रोफेशन त्यांचं अर्थात खूप वेगळं आहे, पण इंडियन क्लासिकल म्युझिक किंवा डान्स फॉर्मशी ते खूप कनेक्टेड आहेत आणि ते खूप दे आर रिअली डुईंग समथिंग ऑन अ व्हेरी सिरियस नोट. तर अशा लोकांना घेऊन ही एक मिसाल नावाची इंटरव्ह्यू सिरीज ह्या पेजने तयार केलेली आहे. तर अर्थात तुम्हाला पोस्टरवरून कळलं असेल की आज आपण नेहा महाजन, ऑफकोर्स आपण सगळ्यांना ती माहिती आहे. शी इज अमेझिंग ॲक्टर. तिने मराठी, हिंदी, मल्याळम आणि इंग्लिश ह्या सगळ्या वेगवेगळ्या भाषांमध्ये तिने काम केलेलं आहे. मूव्हीजमध्ये काम केलेलं आहे, नेटफ्लिक्सच्या माध्यमातून ती आपल्यासमोर आलेली आहे आणि शिवाय ती थिएटर ॲक्टर पण आहे. पण ह्या व्यतिरिक्त अर्थात ह्या सिरीजशी कनेक्ट होण्याचं कारण हे आहे की ती सतार स्वतः अतिशय सुंदर वाजवते आणि तिच्याकडे लिगसी म्हणू आपण की तिचे वडीलही पंडित विदुर महाजन हे अर्थात एक सुंदर अप्रतिम सतारवादक आहेत. तर मला वाटतं की हे एक खूप इंटरेस्टिंग कॉम्बिनेशन आहे आणि म्हणूनच आपण आज खास तिच्याशी गप्पा मारायला इथे आलोत. मी नेहाला रिक्वेस्ट करते. ओके, तिने मला ऑलरेडी पाठवली आहे रिक्वेस्ट. फाईन, जस्ट आस्क टू जॉईन. येस, फाईन.
हाय,
हाय.
गुड टू सी यू. मी तुला बघतीये. मी 4 वाजता आली आहे वेळेवर. सो गुड टू सी यू अँड आय एम ग्लॅड यू
मी पण 4
इंट्रोड्यूस.
वाजता आले होते. देयर वॉज सम टेक्निकल ग्लिच, सो लेट्स
राईट.
जस्ट फॉरगेट
या.
दॅट.
सो
कशी
तू
आहेस
आता
तू?
हॉरिझॉन्टल आहेस का तू व्हर्टिकल आहेस?
मी
आय थिंक तू व्हर्टिकल आहेस.
हॉरिझॉन्टल आहे
अच्छा.
आता आणि मला
ओके.
चैतन्यने मला सांगितलं की फोन हॉरिझॉन्टल ठेव.
ओके,
मला
कूल. सो दिस वर्क्स, राईट?
आय थिंक दिस वर्क्स म्हणे
ओके, कूल.
नॉट सो शुअर की हे नंतर म्हणे सगळ्यांनाच फोन बहुतेक हॉरिझॉन्टल करावे लागत असतील,
सो
बट
यू वॉन्ट
थिंक दॅट इज
टू जस्ट
फाईन.
सी? ओके,
नाही नाही,
फाईन. आय थिंक
कारण
दॅट्स
का
गुड. इट्स
चैतन्य
गुड टू
मला
सी यू
म्हणला
अँड
की ते चेहरा अर्धा होतो आणि
राईट.
असं काहीतरी त्यांचे वेगळ्याच
एक्झॅक्टली,
गोष्टी.
एक्झॅक्टली. राईट.
फाईन आय गेस. आणि कशी आहेस तू? आणि दिस इज ऍक्च्युली आवर फर्स्ट टाइम दॅट वी आर मीटिंग व्हर्च्युअली ॲटलिस्ट, सो
आय नो.
गुड टू कनेक्ट.
सगळ्यात आधी क्लासिकल म्युझिक ऑफ इंडियाचे आभार मानले पाहिजेत की आपण एकमेकांशी गप्पा मारतोय आणि यु नो दॅट वी आर हिअर लाईव्ह. आय डोंट नो हू ऑल. 151 people welcome. Thanks for joining us. And I'm really happy to meet Kalyani. I don't know what all we are going to talk about today, but I'm excited. I'm sure there's a lot of music in
ऍब्सोल्युटली
this. So
ऍब्सोल्युटली. मी पण खूप जास्त काही प्लॅन नाही केलंय, कारण का एकतर सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, पण आता
huh.
इथे म्हणजे माझं असं होतं की आतापर्यंत मी ज्यांचे दोघा तिघांचे जे इंटरव्ह्यूज घेतले आहेत ते माझ्याहून
Hmm.
वयाने मोठे होते आणि ऑफकोर्स दे आर
Right.
व्हेरी मच सिनियर आर्टिस्ट.
Hmm.
पण इथे मला खूप असं एक वेगळाच एक कम्फर्ट आहे आताच्या कॉन्व्हर्सेशन मध्ये. आय एम रिअली
True.
लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू दिस. तर मला असं वाटतं की आपण ह्या प्रश्नाने सुरुवात करूयात की तू
Hmm.
तुझी एक जस्ट एक क्विक मला जर्नी सांग स्वतःची, कारण का मला असं वाटतं की बरेच नवीन जॉईनर्स असतील की त्यांना दे मस्ट बी इंटरेस्टेड टू नो दिस.
Hmm. Actually, माझी सतारीची जर्नी इज लिंक्ड टू माय पर्सनल जर्नी, राईट? बिकॉज अर्थातच मी अशा आय एम व्हेरी ग्रेटफुल की मी अशा कुटुंबात जन्माला आले जिथे माझे आई वडील दोघंही कलेचे खूप, त्यांना त्या कलेबद्दल प्रेमही होतं आणि ते जोपासतही होते. सो आई माझी इंग्लिश लिटरेचर शिकवायची आणि ट्रान्सलेशन्स. आता ती रिटायर झाली पण अजूनही तिचं बरंच लिखाण वगैरे काय काय चाललंय. आणि शी वॉज डीपली इंटरेस्टेड इन फिल्म्स आणि नाटक. आणि बाबा अर्थातच म्हणजे सतार शिकवत होते, वाजवत होते. महत्वाची एक गोष्ट म्हणजे तळेगावाच्या ते सतारीचे प्रोग्राम्स ऑर्गनाइज करत होते. हा बोल.
तुला एक थांबवते, मला आता ऍक्च्युली रिक्वेस्ट आल्या 2-3 जणांच्या की दे आर रिक्वेस्टिंग अस टू स्पीक इन हिंदी और इंग्लिश, सो विल
Okay, let's
जस्ट
do that. No problem.
do
Yeah,
that.
no problem. Got
So
it.
you
Yeah,
were
that
telling
makes sense.
about your journey, Sita journey. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying that I was fortunate to have been born in a family that was already deeply interested in music and the arts in general. I was saying that my father not only was teaching music and learning and also performing, but he was also organizing concerts. And in those days, it was really fun because the musicians who would come down to my hometown, which is Taregaon, they would all stay at our home. So it was a
Wow.
very informal sort of, so if the concert was happening, say, on the 28th of October, the musicians would come like a week or 2 weeks before, stay. Then we'd cook for them, we'd hang out. Then I hear them play. There are like, I have my childhood photos of me sitting right next to Bal Murli Krishna and listening to him Riyaz. So
Yeah.
like things. So I think having grown up in that kind of an environment where I saw so many people and you can imagine that being like the little girl in the household, like people shower you with so much love and so much attention. I have had the great fortune of Pandit Mukul Shivaputra sitting down with me for a month and teaching me rag Desh for like 1 month. ते पेटीवर
क्या बात
असायचे.
है.
He was on the harmonium and I would be, I was just listening. And so this was again a very informal sort of setup that I grew up in. And so I feel that that's where all the seeds were. And of course, then later on, I chose to do a lot of things. I chose to do my master's in philosophy, and then acting happened in life. And of course, once you speak the language of music, it is really hard to ever want to go away from it. So I feel that's what's happened to me with the sitar, right? That I feel that there's so much more to learn, explore, understand where the sitar also came from, what that instrument is all about, the kind of people that have sort of contributed to the world of music, and how we sort of maneuver the concepts of classical music, rag music, world music, what it means. I think all of these things I feel very fascinating as a student, and I want to keep learning. I still feel that there's just so much more. It never feels like you're a PhD student in music. You always feel like you're still in school, waiting for that for that
Absolutely.
upgrade. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you said it so right that it's never-ending
Right.
journey, and you always, feel like you're in a KG when you listen any maestro.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something like that. You feel like zero
Yeah.
when you listen someone's, some legendary uh, art piece or any music.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that's interesting, but didn't you have that pressure, like your background is something like your father is also pursuing, and he's a professional sitar player. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was there any pressure, like you have, if you could just continue this sitar, then that would be great, or something like that in your family?
Uh, I would I will say no pressure. And I
Okay.
think that was also sort of intentional in the sense that I think my family is, I remember my grandfather, my mother and my father. I think I owe it to the three of them and my brother in my childhood to have inculcated this immense sense of choosing and having a sense of freedom and really thinking clearly about what you wish to do and what you want. And I think these are really important things. And now at hindsight, I realize, oh, this was what was going on. It wasn't so. No, my father, I hear so many stories, as you must know too. I hear so many stories of great stories. We'll go into the debate of whether that's later sometime. I don't know. But I feel like my father never really coerced me into practicing. Never said, if you don't do this,
Okay.
I'm going to hit you, or nothing like that. So, or my mother never said that, okay, now that you are this age, what are your plans for whatever? Like it wasn't a conventional setup for me, because I think I was able to, because I think it takes time. It takes time to really ask yourself where you situate yourself in a society.
Mm.
Okay, and some of us are privileged to be able to do that. I acknowledge it, and I feel that I want to make use of it in a way that makes sense to me and the others also. But in the sense that when you're too young and when things are imposed on you, then it becomes a bit haphazard. I think you need a little time. You need a slightly slow paced, um, even you need a little, a place where you can make mistakes. You can talk to people. You can ask, your contemporaries, your friends, your uncles or aunts, or whoever, like your parents' friends, like, what's going on? Am I doing this right? Instead of chasing the constant idea of success or
Right.
money or fame, I think, minus all of this, what do you want? Like, even when you're a student of, say, cinema or music or art or anything for that matter, what is it that you want to say? What is it that you want to do? Right? I think those were the questions that my parents kept asking me. So it wasn't the imposition that make a career and make yourself famous, or make yourself money or whatever, but be honest to yourself. Ask yourself what you want. Ask yourself, does this make sense? Is this good? Are you contributing to the mess that exists, or are you contributing to a legacy that you are in love with? So I think those were guiding questions, remain guiding questions. I don't think I've reached any, I think I'm still like on the ghats of all of these questions. So,
Everyone
yeah,
is
so,
everyone is in those ghats. So
yeah,
don't worry, you are
yeah,
not the
true,
only one. So
right,
yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. And again, this could happen. I won't say like just only with the privileged families, but
Hmm.
again, this I mean, if anyone can afford many things, but if you don't have that vision, then it is of no use. So maybe
Hmm.
you're like, it's again up to, how up to our upbringing, that how we, see things, and how our parents try to see the things
Right.
altogether. So
Hmm.
yeah, this is very much interesting to know. But now I want to ask you that how, I mean, we all know that you are, you are doing really great in acting, and I think most of the joiners are your almost all the fans and followers. So I want to know that how you manage your sitar and acting. Hmm. I mean, in general, how do you manage, pursuing music, or practicing it
Right.
in every aspect, like in a technical aspect, or whatever.
Right. That's a very nice question. And I was thinking about our upcoming session, and I knew you would ask me my relationship between acting and music. And I think, in all honesty, a lot of actors, even in FTI, even in big institutes, when I was in Texas, I was learning acting also when I was a student there. And I think actors are also trained to do many different skills. Like, actors know how to ride horses. Actors are taught how to sing. Good, like theater actors, or often they do so much movement. Like, body movement is part of an actor's life. I personally
Mhm.
think that music for me is a sort of skill and passion, and something that I'm super close to, which sort of makes me, in fact, more attuned to what I want to say and do. So actually, acting and music really helps me. I don't think I manage anything. I think without each other, I would actually be lost. I feel like I am, propped by both of these things where I can understand what's going on. Because with, of course, with music comes discipline. You have to practice. There is no way you can't practice and suddenly you're making music. So for those practical reasons, I take my sitar when I'm traveling on shoot. I at least tell myself I'm going to do at least 1 hour of riyaz when I'm shooting at the end of the day. And we actors have enough time, honestly. Like it's a myth that we are just constantly ridden with movies. There's possibly 2 movies a year for actors like me. So I feel that when I'm shooting, I know that my riyaz is going to be a little bit downhill. But when I'm not shooting, then I make sure that I compensate by playing music. And by when I'm shooting, I listen to a lot of music. I like strategize of things I want to do, things I want to try. Then I like keep counting on my fingers about things I want to, melodies that I want to work on and stuff like that. And then when I'm home, then I'm actually working on it. Then the acting world is far away. And I don't think that that acting is just a world of glamour. And then I feel like currently in the music industry also there's so many glamorous spaces. I feel like glamour is a personal choice and vocation
Hmm.
and passion is another choice. So I feel that, I feel that what you wish to do and where you wish to go is always something that you decide. So
Right.
I don't think that music and acting are that, you know, completely diagonally opposite. In fact, there are times when I feel that, oh, this kind of methodology I can use in thinking of, sometimes I am lost about how to make a scene. Then I think of calming myself down, thinking, let me tune myself to the theme of this scene. Then let me just not think about myself. So I think both help me in both the disciplines in big
Great.
ways. Mhm.
Great. And I think that, as you said, I mean, these all art forms are very much interdisciplinary in
Mhm.
for each other.
Mhm.
So it's just all about expressing things,
Mhm.
and we are just using some medium. So again, art is nothing but just to express any emotion.
Mhm.
So yes, I mean, if I have seen, of course, we all see many artists who are who are a great singer. At the same time, they are great painters. At the same time, they're doing. I mean, they are a good poet. But again, people मतलब ऐसे बहुत होते हैं कि आप ये भी कर लेते हो, आप वो
Mm.
भी कर लेते हो. अच्छा, so it's not like that. I
Right,
feel personally, it's just
correct.
about how do you use that medium. And again,
Right.
I feel that it's the medium could be practiced or polished, and of
Mhm.
course you have to have that you know gift from God itself
Mhm.
to
Right.
be more natural in that medium. But
Yeah.
yes, I mean it's all interdisciplinary,
You're right, because at the end, it's about what you want to say. So maybe your vocabulary is less, but if you have something to say, you'll use whatever vocabulary you have in saying that. So it boils down to what is it that you really feel, or what are your top priorities in terms of themes, in terms of what you want to say, what you want to address.
right,
So you're right about that completely.
right.
Mm.
And I think that how do you manage when it comes to something like जैसे कि मैंने अभी कहा कि सितार को लेके हाउ डू यू मैनेज टू प्रैक्टिस और एवरीथिंग, बट इन केस
Hmm.
ऑफ एक्टिंग हाउ डू यू नो मैनेज, क्योंकि क्या क्या मतलब सितार या म्यूजिक में क्या है कि एज पर आई डोंट नो
Hmm.
अबाउट एक्टिंग एट ऑल. So
Hmm.
you are the good person to talk, because I think I haven't met any person who are doing who is doing both the things
Hmm.
at the same time.
Hmm.
So I want
Mm-hmm.
to know that how do you know manage practicing, because in case of music there is everything about it's just about practice. It's
Mm-hmm.
just about real
Yeah.
and not about performances
Mm-hmm.
actually. So
Correct.
people think that things exactly opposite,
Yeah.
and they think that you know it's when you are musician or when you are pursuing music, it's all about performances, but it's
Mm-hmm.
never like that.
Mm-hmm.
uh, वो कभी एक ही मतलब वो it's like कभी एक ही बार होता है परफॉर्मेंस, लेकिन रिहर्सल तो रोज ही करना पड़ता है. So what Neha, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here. I can hear you.
Okay. Because I can't see you. Your video is glitched. I don't know.
I can see you.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
मुझे कहना था कि is there anything in acting also that you practice daily or something? How does that work? Works
That's
for
a really
many
nice
others.
question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me and see me okay now? Can
I
everybody see me, hear me
can't
okay?
hear you properly actually,
Oh.
but I can hear you clearly.
Hmm.
Your it's kind of buffering. I don't know why.
Right. I don't know
Maybe you
why.
can
Everything seems
maybe you can just leave and then rejoin.
you.
That can work.
Sure? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think Neha will join shortly. She lost her network. Okay. We'll wait for a minute. Yes, I guess. Okay. Yes, I got her request. There is a network issue. Just a second. Okay. Hi
Hello.
Neha. Can you hear me?
I'm live. I don't see any yet.
आइकल आता है?
Do you want to switch it up and do vertical? Because I feel like maybe this was a bad idea and we could read some comments and stuff. We can try this since we have the other one horizontal.
Um,
Oh, never mind.
um,
We're okay.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. Can everybody else? Can somebody like uh, seems like my network seems to be fine actually. What about
Even mine is good. I don't know. In the comments,
so
please let
maybe
us know what's going on and what can you hear and see. Please, no, just take a minute over here. Maybe we can redo everything.
I think we'll
Then
just do you want to continue?
no,
Maybe the glitch will pass. Maybe it's just like a dip.
um, let's
I
see.
can hear
Let's
you,
see
I can see you.
for a minute or two, or
Yeah.
otherwise I'll just finish this, save this, and then we continue again.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I was asking you the same question, like um, about, in a different way. Like, yeah, I can see you now. Great, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I was asking you that how do you practice in terms of when it comes
As an
to
actor.
acting? Yeah.
Hmm. That's a very nice question. I was thinking when you asked me that, and I feel that it's as an actor, you have a lot of things that you can work on. It's actually like constantly, you have to, in fact, know when to say, okay, now relax. You don't have to keep, you don't have to be that constantly in the zone. But I feel that as an actor, the most important thing one can do is really observe and process.
Mm.
So, so I think it is common to all art forms where artists do that, where they are sensitively looking at things and understanding, but increasing empathy. But I feel that it's very important for actors to read a lot, because I
Mm.
do feel that you have to expand your imagination. You cannot think that, like, how sometimes there's a belief that this is a character, and XYZ, like these are her parents, this is her scene, this is the script is about 120 pages long. So then how do you fill in the gaps? And I think your life is a pretty nice scale to base your emotions and themes on. But there are characters, there are people in this world that I feel that I need to understand. And in order to do that, I need to just increase my humbleness, my humility, and my sensitivity, and try and understand what other people are thinking, what are they going through, what is happening right now, what does this mean for them. And then in order to sort of um, let it absorb, and then let it come out while I'm performing a scene. So not like, for example, there's a scene where you're thinking about loss. In that case, I cannot make it caricaturish and make somebody else who has actually suffered loss feel like, what the hell, this is insulting. She's got no idea what loss means. You know what I mean? I feel as an actor, it's important for you to be humble about somebody else's emotion. And it's like handling a fragile, thing where it's like, you have to just try and not ruin the scene that the writers and the director have put together by bringing in your ideas of inhibition, your ideas of shame, your ideas of confidence and diffidence. If my dark circles are, properly done up or not, if my lipstick is okay or not. I think, you got to like take all of that away and sort of just come back to that scene, to that emotion, to that thing. And to do that, I think you can just do so many things. I feel just keeping your body healthy, keeping yourself healthy, thinking about people, reading, writing, processing, watching movies. All of these things I do as an actor. I go out to meet other actors or see what they have done. I watch movies that are done. I speak with directors. I feel like that's my life in the movies, where I, think of the people I want to work with, because, oh, these are the people who are actually making stories about people who I feel should come center stage, So, that's, I think, practice as an actor, unlike as a sitar player, where you think about a rag, then you think about, there are so many things. First, the technique, then the lay, the rhythm, then the tal, then the compositions, then whether, I think the other thing is whether you do it do you do it very fast, or do you do it very crisp, or the way you do it, how does it actually speak to your sense of beauty? For that, you need a sense of beauty, not somebody else's sense of beauty, right?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
I think all of this is a thought exercise.
Yeah, and in
We're
case of Indian classical music, there should be always, its own sense of beauty,
hmm,
and not for others, because again everything is so impromptu, and everything is so in upaj in nature. So
correct.
in Indian classical music, definitely this aspect is very much important to think about, and you know try to flourish it as per as per our own capabilities, I guess.
Hmm.
Because again, yeah, it's all about, expressing. It's never like, of course, but if someone is, new to Indian classical music, I would, that's for them, I'm just, giving this, just my input, that it's never like, very fixed composition, or maybe it's just like 10 or 20% is fixed, and
Right.
other rest of things
Exactly.
is so impromptu.
Hmm.
And I think that many times, in again, in the films also, that must be happening, that you are getting the script, and some way or the other you are kind of improvising it, but again, you might be, um, you might be fixing it, that how much percentage that you have to improvise.
Correct. Improvisation is it's a tricky thing, right? Even in music. As a student of music, I often, when I make a mistake in playing a rag, and when my guru tells me that, oh, this is something that you're doing, which when they ask me to say, okay, play something that you want to play, then I play something that I want to play. And when I make a mistake, then I think that's the fine line where you still keep the sanctity of what is going on. I mean, the rag, or just like the scene. I'm just like making an analogy here. And you know that you can't really make a complete digression. Then the point is lost. Like you can't, if you make a complete digression, what you want to say also has to be in lieu with the certain sense of, because rag music, in my opinion, is what, um, it's like there is tradition, there is deep thought, and there is room for improvisation. So how do you balance all of these things together? And it's not like, it's, I think it takes years of practice and understanding, making mistakes, realizing what's wrong, being like being patient enough to let the scolding digest about where things are going wrong, and and then sort of coming up. I think that's also how it is with a scene where the things are written, the director is telling you, the makeup and costume is there. You feel like you don't have freedom, but the freedom is immense. You know,
That's very interesting. That's really
yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
Wow.
It's how you decide that emotion, how it's going to really translate. You don't know that.
So, so
Like
how?
right now we are speaking, we don't know.
Right, right. So it's all about, like, how do you, get that, the, in between those lines space.
Hmm.
It's your own capability that you grasp that space. Maybe
Hmm.
that's
And you
interesting.
keep increasing that capacity. I think if you're at this capacity right now, and then you realize, oh, there's so many things I can listen, hear, absorb, or practice, and then I increase that capacity to understand what are those in between things. Or
Yeah.
that's why I think when I think about musicians who often say that even a lifetime is not enough to learn music or to practice music. And I wonder what it means. And I think this is what it means, because maybe because the scope is so immense that after every milestone, you realize there's another milestone. There is another way of doing it. And there are so many different variations, so many different possibilities. So, that like on the journey, if I am here, maybe the great masters and legendary musicians are way further, see something even more beautiful that I can't even see as yet. But I think the guiding light sort of still takes you on that direction, which
Right.
is why
Right.
it remains never ending.
That's
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then how? Uh, I mean, you are anyway. We are talking about Indian classical music.
Hmm.
Uh, what do you feel about today's Indian classical music? What do you uh, what do you like? Whom do you follow? Tell me about that.
That's a nice question. So first thing, I really think it is appropriate to call our music Indian rag music rather than classical music. And the reasons for these are, some of this is quite, my father speaks about this a lot, and I completely agree with him on
I
this.
know.
I feel that the connotations of classical are something that I definitely reject as well. I don't think that music can ever be fretted to a certain kind or class of people. I think that's just not right. I feel that music is like air and water and sunshine, and everybody has access to it, and everybody can understand it and feel it. And so, the way it is understood as traditional and shastriya in that sense. So shastriya is the appropriate word
Yeah,
for it,
that
but
that
it's
would be
lost.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's lost in translation, right? Like when we say shastriya, it means that there is a certain shastra, which means there is a certain methodology, like the kind of books that like recently I found out, like the kind of experiments people have made in order to just establish the position of notes. Those are crazy experiments. When you go back and think about like how this was done, that is Shastra. So firstly, I think that it is rag music, because I think we are learning rags. We are in the practice of understanding how the rag has traveled. Some people played it differently. There are so many different renditions of it. Some people think that adding another note to it makes it impure. Some people don't think that. So how are these thoughts formed, and how do people then say that this style is different from this other style? In what sense? Is it just a matter of a couple of strokes, or is it a matter of a complete philosophical worldview? Right, I think these are the more interesting questions as a student of music, which I feel that need to be left unanswered and sort of more researched on. And that's why I feel that today, I feel that as young practitioners and students, that these questions should bother us a little bit more than, you know, because sometimes I meet a lot of people who think that, who tell me, I have my friends from college. If they were on the internet, I would call them. But they've said like, this is boring. I can't listen to this. I would much rather listen to like some funky rap where I can work out to that music. But I feel that it's just a small misunderstanding. It's a blind spot where I feel that actually, if you enjoy listening to music and forget that it is called something, like whether it's called classical, whether it's called jazz, whether it's called rag, whether it's called whatever you call it, these are names. You don't need to know a name of a flower in order to know that a flower is beautiful, right? So I feel it's like that. I feel that a lot of people think that it's inaccessible because it is dense and because it is very strict, and I cannot imagine that. um, I think this is all misconceptions. So I feel that today we need to just sort of keep ourselves in check about these misconceptions, and not necessarily just jump into the trend and just like
I mean,
make.
I think even I think that in case of those who generally don't listen Indian classical music, or they, uh, I feel that, or they don't they won't go easily for Indian classical musical concert. I
Hmm.
think it's again all about developing the taste, and it's it's I feel all it's always about developing the taste. अगर
Yeah.
हम जब जो भी चीज खाते हैं,
Hmm.
मतलब देखे जाए तो मतलब if I gave my nani a piece of pizza, she won't like it
Hmm.
at all, because of
Right.
course she hasn't eaten it. She will tell me like, just throw that rubbish thing out of me. So it's something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, of course, and we like we go mad for pizza. So it's against the same thing like that. It's all about developing the taste and giving a little bit patience, or being more patient to know the art form and appreciate it. Then
I
you can
agree.
just then you can just pass any judgment. Again, it's again it is going on a different path again.
I
So, but yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
it's about being open to how you really feel instead of thinking about how you're made to feel by conditioning. Sometimes
yeah,
sometimes
that
you go in and you know you're supposed to feel like this, and so you feel a certain way. But if you actually just be yourself, and it's the hardest thing in the world,
yeah,
because you keep second guessing, you keep thinking this is how I should be, this is what I should look like, this is actually, like, um I should do X thing so that Y person will feel I'm doing the right thing. I feel once we really reject all of these notions and just be ourselves, I think we'll begin to think of life very
you
differently, you know?
said it so correctly. Yeah, I mean, we and again, no offense, but Indian classical music, for that matter, it's so much conditioned, unfortunately. That it's my opinion. It's my very
Hmm.
personal opinion.
Mhm.
But I feel very it is again very much some it's not about music basically, but the it's about the musicians who created those
Mhm.
conditions, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
environment, those situations, and those auras and everything. So
I think in our country, this is going very differently, but just to sort of conclude it so that we move on to other things. But it's very important to know that any art form is actually the way it is um, sort of carried forward depends on the health of your society. And if a certain number of people are going to say this is ours and we are not going to share it, then that's actually strangling your own music. Historically also there are incidences where musicians have had to suffer so much in order to be able to learn. Because, for example, it is true in the history of Indian music that Rudravina was not taught to somebody outside of your kin. This was something my Sri Ravi Garge, my Ravi sir, he told me about this. He said that it was actually true at one point that people outside their kin were not taught because they would make it impure. But I feel, and at the same person on his deathbed said that I really regret this. I wish I had taught more people because with me dies my music. And I feel that, this kind of barrier where you say, this is ours, nobody else can do it. This strangles our own music. And I strongly think that that's the health of our society, where we need to have resources accessible for everyone so that it actually spreads, something beautiful can reach and is not like just for some people who have the money to access it, right? So
absolutely,
diversify
that's
it. Hmm.
absolutely, that's absolutely.
Okay, going back to like music.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, yeah, I mean, you were talking about as a music pursuer or a student of music,
mhm.
whom do you follow? And I mean, who are your idols or your favorite
I have
musician?
so many. Yeah, I think right now my favorite musician, it's hard to say. I shouldn't say favorite. It's like books. You can't have just one favorite
I
person.
know.
But of course, my all-time favorite is Sri Vilayat Khan. And like I really love his music. Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, of course, even Ravi Shankar, um, um, Ashwini Bhide, Ullas Kasharkar. I feel all these people are, like living encyclopedias of things that have happened. And I genuinely, Purvain Chatterjee, Purvain Dada is also like, he's got so much, and it's so nice to, he's stroking the way he brings to life the sitar. It's like quite remarkable. I feel everybody. There's so many people right now. I run in the morning, and every day while I run, I listen to. Oh, I must say, I really love Malini Tai, Malini Razurkar. She's my favorite.
Ah,
She, yeah, I really love listening to her music. Rasikla Randharia. I think the list is endless. There's so many people who have contributed so much that, um, yeah, you need more hours in a day to listen to a lot of music and then practice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the topics are like endless topics, and I think we might need another live session, maybe in a real life session
Yeah,
to discuss these things,
that's true.
not virtually probably. But yeah, I
Mm.
think I can ask you, maybe this could be a last question as
Mm. Sure.
time meets.
Yes. Mm.
So, what are your further agendas, about your music? What do you think, and where you see yourself?
Mm. That's a hard question, to be honest with you, because I mean, I'll be honest, I think I'm still in the stage of forming. I'm still learning. I still need to, I need to, uh, I don't feel that I am going to record anything anytime soon. I need a couple more years, and I want to think through all of the things that we have spoken about and how I want to sort of synthesize it. And that's why I feel that right now I'm just so happy learning. There's I'm reading a very interesting book in Marathi recently. It's written by somebody who used to do sitar maintenance, if you can believe it. ज्वारी
Oh,
जे काढायचे ना पूर्वीच्या काळात
oh, oh,
त्यांनी लिहिलेलं पुस्तक आहे and it's so I think I'm just happy like learning, working, and just sort of yeah getting more knowledge. I think that's my stage. I don't know what I will do with it, but hopefully something good.
I think this is the ultimate stage that every artist, every musician do and live for. I think it's always about learning and
Yeah.
not about performance. Always.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this was really fun and great talking to you. I had a
I want to
great.
ask you all of the questions that you asked me, but we'll keep it for when we
No,
speak on the phone.
not about acting. I don't know
Not about
acting.
acting, but okay, yes.
Actually, I'm a science student, but that's the different case altogether. So let's just finish it here.
Oh, science student.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We can have so many analogies from science also. That's what I think when we talk about art, we talk about life because that's what it essentially is. As a concluding thing, I feel this important to say, that how you feel, what you think, how you prioritize, what you prioritize between good and bad. What is your moral radar of sorts? Do you really feel bad about things that are going on in the world? And then what do you do to address that? And how do you process that? I think all of this matters as an artist, and all of this should matter too in many ways. So yeah, that's just trying to process, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are all
Hmm.
we are all in the same journey. So
Yeah.
let's just hope the best.
Yes.
And
Really fun
yeah,
chatting. This was great. And
yes, absolutely. I had a great time and hope all the joiners also had a great time. They enjoyed this chat, come interview session. And again, I thank Classical Music of India page for having us. And it's really a great time being here. So
thank you
yes,
everyone for
with this,
joining. Thank you, Sai and Chaitanya.
yes,
Because of you, we had this very fun 1 hour today
absolutely.
on a weekend. So we'll
Oh,
continue the conversations offline.
yes, definitely, definitely. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
Bye, Neha.
Bye.